Have you ever wondered how love, one of the most powerful emotions, can turn from something that brings joy to something that causes heartbreak? What happens when love is not reciprocated and one person's devotion is met with manipulation and betrayal? Today, magazine news and gossip delves deep into the tragic love story between Demet and Can, a tale filled with passion, deceit, and ultimate rebirth. But this isn't just any love story. It's one that serves as a reminder of the fine line between love and destruction. Stick with us until the end as we unravel this emotional roller coaster. Don't forget to subscribe to magazine news and gossip and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the hottest news and scandals. Demet's love, pure, sincere, and unwavering. When Demet first fell in love with Can, she believed that her love for him was more precious than anything else in her life. It was pure and genuine, flowing from her heart toward Can with no hesitation. Every glance, every word, every step she took was filled with her deep love for him. To Demet, Can was not just a partner, but the very essence of her existence, giving her life meaning and purpose. She loved him with such selflessness that she was willing to do anything for him. But here lies the tragedy. Demet was blind to the fact that this love was one-sided. Perhaps she didn't want to see it, or maybe love had clouded her judgment. As they say, love can be blinding, and Demet was no exception. She chose to live in the fantasy of her love rather than facing the cold reality that Can's feelings were not mutual. Her devotion to Can affected not just her emotional life, but her professional ambitions as well. Demet was a woman with goals, someone who wanted to succeed and push the boundaries of her career. However, Can saw her ambitions as a threat. Rather than supporting her growth, Can continually placed obstacles in her path, trying to suppress her success. He felt threatened by the possibility of Demet surpassing him, so he sought to control her professionally, keeping her in check. Despite the manipulation, Demet explained away Can's indifference and hurtful actions as part of their love. She even accepted his coldness toward her as something natural in their relationship. Can's true colors, ego, and false love. On the other side of this tragic story was Can, whose perspective on love was the polar opposite of Demet's. To him, love wasn't a pure emotion, it was a tool to be used to satisfy his ego. If Can had truly loved Demet, he would have celebrated her success, stood by her side, and offered her support. Instead, Can's actions proved that his love for Demet was nothing more than a facade, a means to maintain control over her. He feared that Demet's rising career would outshine his own, so he set out to sabotage her, creating barriers to prevent her from achieving success. His goal was not to uplift her, but to ensure she remained dependent on him, emotionally and professionally. This revealed Can's true, selfish nature. Demet wasn't a lover in his eyes. She was merely an object of control. Keeping her success at bay was his way of ensuring dominance in the relationship. Can's behavior highlighted his manipulative tendencies. Rather than appreciating Demet's place in his life, he pressured her, seeking to mold her and limit her growth. The barriers he placed before her were not just physical, they were emotional and professional obstacles aimed at weakening her from within. Can's love was not love at all, but a series of false promises and emotional games designed to keep Demet under his influence. The face of true love, lies, and deception. Demet's and Can's story stands as a tragic reminder that love is not always mutual, and feelings are not always shared equally. Demet poured her heart into loving Can, believing that her devotion would be reciprocated. However, the reality was far from that. Can never truly loved Demet. His emotions were as false as the promises he made to her. In relationships like theirs, one partner is driven by pure and sincere feelings, while the other operates entirely out of self-interest, leading to inevitable destruction. Demet's love for Can blinded her to the truth, while Can exploited this blindness for his own benefit. When someone believes they are loved, it gives them strength and meaning in life. But when that love is not returned, the betrayal from the person they trust creates deep wounds in their soul. This is the story of Demet, a woman betrayed by love, manipulated, and controlled by someone who only saw her as a tool for his ego. The realization that Can had been using her all along shattered Demet emotionally and professionally. She had centered her life around her love for Can, believing it to be the foundation of her existence. But when she realized the love she thought was real was merely a facade, it marked the beginning of her emotional collapse. The price of love, Demet's destruction and fight for rebirth. It took time, but eventually, Demet saw Can for who he truly was, a manipulative partner who never loved her. But coming to terms with this was not easy. As the old saying goes, love is blind, and Demet had been living in this blindness for far too long. Even though she finally realized Can had never truly loved her, accepting that she had been used as a pawn in his game was devastating. For someone who had made love the center of her life, Demet had to face a harsh reality. Can's affection and interest in her had been a lie from the start. His constant efforts to control her, to prevent her from achieving success, and to weaken her emotionally left deep scars in her heart. Over time, these wounds grew into an emotional void that swallowed Demet, causing her to spiral into despair. But every destruction brings with it the opportunity for rebirth. After coming to terms with a painful truth, Demet made the courageous decision to rebuild her life from the ground up. She fought hard to free herself from Can's influence, to regain her emotional strength, and to push forward in her career. It was one of the most challenging periods of her life, but Demet emerged stronger, having survived the worst of her emotional storm. Conclusion: facing the true nature of love. Demet's and Can's story serves as a poignant reminder that love is not always mutual, and in some cases, one person's sincerity is met with the other's deceit. Love, when it is pure and reciprocated, has the power to give life meaning and direction. But when it is one-sided, it can inflict deep emotional wounds that are hard to heal. Demet went through one of the darkest times of her life because of her love for Can, but she also found the strength to rise again. After recognizing Can's true nature, she rebuilt her life, becoming emotionally stronger and more resilient. Her journey shows that love is not just an emotional connection but also a force that shapes lives. In the end, Demet's story reminds us that love doesn't always follow the path we hope for, and sometimes we must confront the painful reality that not all love is reciprocated. Yet from that pain can come growth, strength, and a newfound sense of self. Demet's journey from heartbreak to empowerment is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and a cautionary tale about the power dynamics that can exist in relationships. Thank you for staying with us on Magazine News and Gossip as we explored this heartfelt and tragic love story. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future stories and updates from the world of celebrity news. As always, we value your thoughts, so share your opinions in the comments below.